Hey, you guys, and welcome back to the Designer's Room where we go beyond the lash line. My name is Uni, and I am a mother, lash design mentor, as well as educator. This episode is a little different. As you can see, I have the lovely Natali right beside me. For those of you who do not know, Natali is one of my most talented lash designers at my LA location. And yeah, super excited to have you here. Super excited to have you here. So during this episode, I just wanted for this to be super organic, go with the flow, but also allow Natali to share a lot about like who she is, her experience here. For context, well, I'll have her share like a little bit more about this, but she was a former lash technician, turned to lash designer, and we're coming up on about a year, us being together. And I just want to just get your honest, organic feedback and just, your experience. Okay. Let's break the ice a little bit. Right. So, my first question to you is how are you feeling about being here in person right now?
I'm pretty excited. I've been like on Close Friends, like ranting about it. I was like, oh, yes. So yeah, I've been like trying to hold it in, but I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm super excited that you're excited. Yeah. Like I said, I wanted this to be very organic. Like, you know how it is, like when we're, together. So I was like, I did not overthink this at all. Yeah. Like, this is the most planning, and this was like 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
So, next question. So can you introduce yourself and tell us how long you've been lashing for?
Okay, my name is Natali. I've been lashing. It'll be 6 years in July now. Started off as a lash technician. Very much open eye, cat eye. The squirrel eye, I think, was like a thing back then. Classics. That's how it started. And now we're here.
Now you're here.
We're here.
6 years later, doing things much different. So
completely.
That's exciting. So let's dive a little deeper.
Okay.
Do you remember when we first connected?
I do.
You do?
I do. I have the timeline. I sent it to her though.
She actually did, and like here we are on both sides of the phone, like crying just a little bit.
Yeah.
So, do you want to share what you kind of like remember about when we first connected?
Yeah. So I remember being on Instagram. I had been following you for maybe like maybe a year, if not like a little under that. Mm-hmm. And I saw we're hiring. And I was like, oh my God. And I remember clicking on it and I was like, oh my God, I'm going to apply. And like right away, you're like, okay, like can't wait to hear back or something like that. And then I took a little bit. And I think at the time, like after applying, I was volunteering for an event. And it was like in the middle of nowhere. There was no service. There was like one specific spot that had service. And I looked at my email and it was a reply from you with like the whole like application, all the questions and stuff like that. And I remember just being like super excited. And I like went back to do like my makeup gig. And the whole time I was just like, oh my God, I got the opportunity. Like I need to go home and like fill this out like as soon as I get there. And then that night when I got home, it was like close to like 9 p.m. And if anyone that knows me, like I go to bed super early, but I like stayed up like filling out these questions and like sent it in. So yeah.
It's so crazy to hear like what your experience was on the other side of that, and then just me just being so grateful that you even wanted to join. Like I seen your email and I was like, wow.
Yeah, I was like, I live really far.
No, honestly, too. Like it was that dedication too. I was like, wow, there are people who are super dedicated and genuine and actually love to do this. And you sounded like a fun time too. Yeah. I mean, I looked at you and I was like, oh, she has tattoos. She's a fun time. I'm like, she's a fun time. She's personality. So yeah. Oh wow. It's nice to hear like I said, the other side of the interaction. Yeah. Finally. This is the first time that you're telling me this. What was going through your mind before officially joining Poised Lux?
Oh man. So right after I like had applied and everything, I remember like calling my mom and I was like, I applied for like this job in LA. Like I know I can do it like every other weekend. And she was like just so down about it. I remember like being so like heartbroken. I was like, no, like I have to make it, like I can do it. And she was like, no, like blah blah blah. And I was like super sad for like about like 3 days.
Really?
And I was in therapy at the time, and I remember telling my therapist, I was like, I just know I can do it, and like I'm just tired of like people trying to tell me that like I can't do certain things because I'm in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
So it took a while for my mom to even be like okay with me doing that because I have kids. When I first started, I like had made it very clear, like, hey, I live like 3.5, 4 hours away, but I can be there like every other weekend when I don't have like my kids. And I remember you being like, oh yeah, like that's fine, like we'll make it work. And so like me knowing that I could make it work, and I just kind of needed the support and just someone to just be like, oh, you got this, like you can do it. And I did get that from like my friends. I remember one of my friends, she came to my house at the time and she was like, no, you could do it. Because again, I was on close friends, like super sad, like no one cares. I was like, I can do it, I can do it. But yeah, it was a lot of like emotions up and down, just being really excited and then kind of like it being shot down by like the people who I love the most.
Yeah.
But I'm here.
Yeah, I'm happy that you're here.
Yeah.
I'm hearing a lot of this. I'm hearing for the first
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
You know, so I didn't know that was the experience that you had. You know, especially when you hear not the greatest feedback from people that you really care about. You know, like no matter how much you say, like you don't really care about what anybody else thinks, it still hurts. You know, it still hurts. But I'm happy that you like stuck to it, and here we are a year later.
Yeah.
We've had like tons of experiences that we're gonna dive into as well. We've traveled out of the country together too. Like we've done some things, you know, we've done some things. So I'm just happy, you know, that you went ahead and still betted on yourself. When did you first hear the difference between a lash technician and a lash designer?
I know for sure you had constantly brought it up during like I think it was like the second time I had came down and I had to do the live model. But then you really like dove into it deeper that first week of July when you had a training and you had us like come in and like take models and actually visually seeing it. I'm like, oh, this is different. And I remember even the first time I took actual clients, I was so nervous for it. I was like, oh my god, like I don't know. Like it was a lot of a lot. I was like, okay, like this is more than people think. And I remember my clients at the time were like, oh, like how long have you been doing this? And I was like, well, I've been lashing for like 5 years, but I actually just learned this like 2 weeks ago. And they were like, okay, you know, yeah, those first set of clients, they were great. They were so like easy to work with and very understanding. So I'm so grateful for that.
Yeah. I remember, you know, it was intensive. Honestly, it felt like it was a boot camp. I was like, oh my gosh, and it was like models back to back to back to back.
Yeah. We were there all day. Like I remember, like I was like, okay, I'm just gonna be here for like the weekend, right? It turned into like this big. It was a lot. We were like, okay, and it was hot. It was
I was gonna say that too. It was hot.
Like a sweatshop.
It felt like boot camp. Like you got to do this in the trenches. Get out and do this in AC.
Yes. Oh man, yeah,
that was hilarious. I definitely remember. Like, that was intensive. Models back to back, expectations.
Yeah.
Too. That's the one thing, whether a model or not, like they have expectations. You know, like if someone's sitting down for hours, expectations are there.
Yeah. And then do you remember I used to have the oldest pair of tweezers. Like I was just like so used to my tweezers. And he was like, they're you're doing something, like you got it, but like there's just something missing. And come to find out, it was my tweezers.
Tweezers. When's the last time you lashed with them tweezers?
I don't have them anymore.
See, they're gone. They're gone. Let this be some advice for anyone who's watching. Sometimes it's just a tweezer.
Sometimes you need a new pair of tweezers.
Yeah, sometimes you need a new pair of tweezers.
Almost like every year at this. Like now, I'm like, no, I need a new pair every year now.
Every year, yeah. Honestly, they wear and tear over time. So.
Yeah, I have had those tweezers for about like 4.5 years.
Oh my gosh. Wait, have you dropped them or anything? Like
no, not those ones.
Wow, they were. Yeah, you're so faithful.
There was like one specific one I was like obsessed with, and like I had never dropped because I'm clumsy, so I drop things all the time. But like that one pair, like I had just never dropped it, or like the isolation one I could always replace, but like my boot, it was my ride or die.
Your ride or die.
Till that day.
You know what's so crazy? Just the sentiment of doing things a certain way and it working for you in that phase of your life, and then when you move to another phase of your life, you gotta sometimes like put that stuff down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that just came to me. Like, ooh, girl.
No, completely.
Yeah, that's what happens. That's genuinely what happens. Great. Bye-bye, tweezers. What is one thing that you struggled with at first that really surprised you?
I was so used to being quick when it came to lashing as a lash technician, just knowing that I had specific clients in like these like small increments, and it was back to back fills. There used to be days that I would work 14 hours back to back just doing fills or full sets. Even like 7 clients, that's what I was used to. And then coming here and being a part of the company and knowing that, hey, you have all this time and just slow down. Give yourself that grace to like be slow.
Yeah.
And I think that was so important. And I think even like, it wasn't even just like a work thing, it was like a whole like life thing when it hit me.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I remember, I think I had told you that. I was lashing and you were in the studio. I was like, this just reminds me to slow down.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Slow down, savor.
Yeah.
You know, I think, especially now, we're just so used to doing things so quickly and so fast. And like, how many clients can we get? Or how many, how quickly can we get through this? That it removes the enjoyment from actually doing it when you're doing things so quickly all the time. Yeah. I don't know if you remember this, but when I first brought you on, when I first even brought Jessica on, I was telling you guys that I want you to do what you love to do. Yeah. You know, like, I never push you to do what you don't like to do. Yeah. I think there was even a moment where you did a set that I knew you just did not like to do. And I've seen it. I've seen it. And it's like, you didn't have to say anything. I seen it reflect in your work, you know? Yeah. Versus the work where you actually love what you do. I see it. The clients feel it. Yeah. You know? And yeah, that's just the essence of that. And in order for you to have that ability, you need to slow down. Yeah. You know, you need to take your time. So yeah, that's a huge one. You know, that's a huge one. I think a lot of people struggle with that, as well as the fanning. Like, people don't even realize you have to like fan different.
No. I have like people and like clients that are like, well, what's the difference? I'm like, the fanning, like the whole technique. It's so hard to explain it to people. It maybe not so hard, but unless you know and you've bought one of your courses or you mentored with you specifically, people don't realize it and understand it. Yeah, they're like, why does it take 3.5 hours? Yeah. Like, I'm like, there's an extra step. Like, I'm not just picking things up and like placing them. I'm like, I gotta do this and I gotta do this, and then like, there's like a lot.
Can you share a moment where you felt discouraged or unsure?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Maybe like my 3rd or 4th client within the company. And I remember when I had first started, I remember we would kind of ask you, oh, can you help us with the mapping? And we know you're busy. And I remember sitting there and I had taken the picture and you weren't replying. And I'm like, what do I do? Like, I don't know. Like, this client, like, she like, it was hard. And then I did her lashes and she hated them. She hated them. And I remember just sitting there like, oh my, like, I effed up.
I'm happy that you didn't allow that to completely discourage you. You know, you're going to have feelings of being discouraged, but, you know, to not turn away from it and still press on forward. I'm proud of you for doing that. I'm like replaying the experience in my head because I'm like, I know what her tone was and stuff. But I think that goes also into questions. Yeah. Because she was an older, she didn't look like it.
Yeah,
she didn't look like it, but she was a grandmother. And I think she was saying things like, you know, the cat eye discussion I always give. Like, she wanted the cat eye. She wasn't a suitable candidate for it. But when, you know, the fix happened, I was able to satisfy the cat eye effect without giving her an actual cat eye. Yeah. So I think like just early on, that when you become a lash designer, trying to kind of decode and understand the language when clients are asking you for certain things, and then also trying your best to understand them so much, you know, before you even lash them. I like to feel so comfortable with a client. I'm pretty sure you feel this way too now, that where you're so on the same page that before they even lay down, they're satisfied with the set.
Yeah. And at the beginning, I think because we were so like new and people didn't know, they thought they'd be booking with you.
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't even take
clients. And they would come in and be like, I want this. Yeah. And it was the Hello Kitty set.
Like, everybody knows that Hello Kitty set.
And I'm like, and then trying to tell clients in a polite way, you don't look like this. Yeah. And like, this isn't what it's gonna look like on you.
That particular model, her name is Monica, and she has this look that is just out of this world. She looks like she pulled out of like an Avatar movie. She just looks so sophisticated.
Yeah.
You know, like her eyes are just so captivating. Where it's like you said, that set was made just for her. Mm-hmm. And unless you look like her, please don't expect to look like her when this set is applied. In her case, 10% of the lashes, 90% is just her. You know, like she just has this captivating look. And that plays a role in it too.
Yeah, yeah. I want to say maybe within like the last 5 months, I don't really get clients that honestly, some of my clients don't even fill out the reference photos anymore. They're just like, oh, do what you like, and like we trust you. Yeah, which I love.
I do let them know, like, please look at your artist portfolio. Yeah, they specialize in what they love to do. Yeah, that's the reason why you're gonna love your set. Yeah. Based on what it is that they love to do. Yeah. You know, and that just carries the momentum all the way through. Yeah. You know, from the start of the appointment to the end, and hopefully when they come back. Throughout all trials and tribulations, what do you feel has helped you the most in now your journey being a lash designer?
I want to say you constantly having our back and like knowing that we can call you, text you, rely on you for whatever it is, whether it's lash things or personal things when it comes to clients, knowing that you're kind of like our safety net and you have our back, that just makes all the difference.
Stop. Yeah. Stop. That makes me so happy. Yeah. That makes me so happy. This is not scripted. Like, like
no, not at all.
Yeah, wow. That makes me feel like I'm doing what I need to do, you know? And when I decided to expand the team and like it be more than me, I really wanted it to be more than me. Like, I want you guys to be at the forefront and I just be, you know, here like, hey, like I'm here for guidance, support. Yeah. You know, I want you to be the best version of yourself in all aspects. You know, like you said, even outside of the lashing space, things have got personal. You know, we connect on a lot of things. We're both single mothers. You know what I mean? So it's just like, I think that God has really aligned our paths the way that it was supposed to be, honestly. Yeah. Because like I understand certain things, you understand certain things just because our walks have just been so similar too. And you know, that gives us more confidence even in the space of creativity. Completely. Here. So what does being a lash designer mean to you now? It's been a year.
Oh man. I will say this. I hate when I tell people that I do lashes and they're like, oh, you're a lash tech. And I'm like, I feel so disrespected. I'm like, no,
I don't. I'm not a lash technician. Don't get it twisted.
I'm like, to be a lash designer now, I feel like I'm almost like changing the way people perceive themselves when it comes to getting lashes. And when I tell people, I create dope sets. Yeah. Like, I really do this.
Yeah, I do this. And
then I like pull up the pictures and I'm like, I need this.
He's like, I did that. Here's the proof. I got receipts.
and then like, it's funny because they'll be like, oh, like you travel for it? Like, I'm like, yeah, like I get to like do this like everywhere if I really wanted to. Yeah. I'm like, I've gone to different like, went out of the country, went out of state. Yeah. I'm like, I really like.
She does this. Yeah. Honestly.
But no, it's completely different. It's a different ball game. It means a lot more than just being a lash technician. Yeah. And I'm also sitting with clients for longer periods of time. I feel like I learned so much about my clients on a deeper level. And I love all my clients. It makes me feel like even better. And it's just like, it's no longer superficial. I will say that.
Yeah, it's no longer just on the surface. No. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like, it's more meaning. Yeah. Like, we go underneath. Listen, I literally had someone slide in my DMs yesterday. I posted your set, and they were like, she eats every time. Aww. And I was like, listen, I got the best of the best of the best. Yes. Like, you know, I felt like, you know, like, this is my MVP right here. You know, like, most valuable player on the team. I love that. Yeah. Yeah, people have been noticing, like, I get so many fire signs, so many hard eyes. I'm like, schedule with her. She's here. Yeah. In 2 cities. Like, in 2 cities.
Where we can.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Like you said, like, we've had the opportunity to travel states, out of the country, and I feel like that's gonna happen again. Yeah. We're preparing to make that happen, so It's going to happen again, Natalie. So just know, just get your bags ready and get the passport ready.
We've been ready.
It's ready. It's ready. So what advice would you give to someone who's stuck doing the basic sets and they want more? You know what I mean?
I will say, take this from me. Purchase those ebooks. Purchase those ebooks. Don't be like me. Yeah, you know, I took my course and it actually took me like a year after I took my course to actually get into lashing. But I know, like, I have friends who lash and they were always purchasing like ebooks and whatever. I would just go like on YouTube or like kind of just like swipe on like Instagram. And it wasn't until I got with you and you sent us like the ebooks and all the stuff, all the information and like the breakdowns and the little videos, and being able to see that and be like, oh, these are actually, you learn. You learn from this stuff. Oh, it's not like it's just a waste of money.
Yeah, it's not just mapping. It's like there's a method. When I say methods of madness, like the name is not just the name for what it is. There's a method to this. You know?
Like no matter like what ebooks you buy or like I mean, like, I'm gonna be biased and say like yours, obviously, but I know there's so many like out there. But definitely make those purchases so you're not just like stuck.
Yeah. And definitely, I like to say, measure the success of the actual ebook by like the fruit that is bared by the people who actually purchase them. People know your work has transformed because they see it. They see the transformation. Like, I see your old work and then I see your new work and I'm like, who is that? Like, who is that? She was cute, but this right here, you know? You get what I mean? So you can really tell based on people's transformations genuinely. Now, you're not just recreating sets that I've done. Like, you're in your own lane of artistry. Like, you have a whole different specialty technique. I don't even have a name for it yet. Like, I'm gonna put a name on it. Like, when she came up, and that's what my goal was for you. Do your own thing. Here's my tools or whatever. And inspire you to kind of just be creative. And you just took flight. And now we got a Natali specialty technique. We're gonna put a name on it. We'll find the name. We gotta think of one. No, but honestly, you have a different type of artistry now. I can see it. Like, oh, that's Natalie's work. That's Natalie's work. That's her. Like, I can literally see between, you know, all the lash designers in LA. That's Jessica. That's Natali. You know what I mean?
I love that.
Yeah, I definitely see that. Okay, so next, you know, you have the opportunity to like speak. Now I want to share kind of like what my thoughts are as, you know, you're a mentor. Oh man, yeah, you know,
so we're gonna cry.
Yeah, you might just cry a little bit. I want to talk about the one thing that I know about Natali for sure. Like, the one thing, like, if I can bet on something, like, if I had like $5 million, like, here's my bet one, here it is. Or Natali, this is what it is. You are probably the most reliable person I've ever met in my life. You're so reliable and you're so empathetic. Like, you feel everything. And it's a great thing. It's a great thing. Like, and I think that's what I loved about you in the beginning, and I still see it now. You have this level of empathy that carries your passion in absolutely everything that you do. Friendships, relationships, like, I see it. Like, when you feel deeply. When you do deeply. You know? And I really do admire that about you. Like, you've always been, listen, if I was like, Natali, we're gonna go rob a bank, we rob a bank. Tweezers with us. Rob a bank. You know, she's so dependable and she's so nurturing and she's just so, I can count on you. You know what I mean? It's hard for me to count on like anybody. And especially like being a single mom and you being a single mom too. Like, you know how much it means for you to be able to say you have people that you can count on. And like, you actually are here. You're not just here just for the money. Like, you're here, you know, because you want to be a part of like the movement. You want to be a part of like making an impact. So I see that in you and I value that a lot. You know, I don't, you know, I might not talk much. You know, I mean, like, this is the one thing where I'm like, if I can say one thing I know about Natali, that is the one thing like I know about you and I love so much. So yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. Stop. One thing I've noticed about your growth is that you've always gotten better. Like, one thing I can say is just like I've never seen you just be stagnant. Like even right now, a year later, every set gets better. You get more and more creative to the point where people are like, "Did you do that?" Like they're asking me, "Did you do that?" And I'm like, "She did." She did it. You know, like I can count on you always wanting to practice too. You're always sending me things, and I'm like, I think AI did that, and you're like, I'm going to try it. I'm going to try it. Like you're always like shooting for more. You know, like even in the moments where getting discouraged, most people would. Yeah. Like you're just like, no, I'm dominating even more. Like, you come in and you take the models too. Yeah. Like I want a model. I want another model. I want another model. Give me all the models. Yeah. So you can practice, get the content in and stuff, and like you're really dedicated to your growth journey. Yeah. And that's a huge part of just growing in general. I feel when people want to be in spaces and get better, sometimes they lack the dedication and commitment it takes to actually want to improve over time. And I see that in you. Yeah. Like you have that commitment there. So yeah. Oh. Yeah, there's days where I'm just like, give me all models. Give me all models. I want models all day. And I'm like, you're just back to back to back to back to back. Yeah. And everyone's eating. Yeah. Like, she's just eating it up. Like, honestly. And then you're doing the color matching. And then you just do that and that. I'm like, okay, all right, I see it. Like, I see it. Like, the burgundy sets. Like, you hit them with the burgundy, the copper. And then you just, like, you've been doing it. So I appreciate that. I feel like you have this artistic side of you that is just so, it's just there. Yeah. It's just there. I knew it when I seen the tattoos. She got taste. She has flavor. Like, she has some seeds. She sees, okay? She has some seeds in it, okay? Okay. I want to give you an opportunity to ask me a question. Oh. I'll give you 2 questions you can ask. Oh, 2 questions. Okay. Did you ever think when you added like the designers that it would be as big as it is now? No, I didn't. I honestly didn't. I know how big I dream, but at the same time, that's just, me, where I'm like, okay, if it's in my control, I can make it happen. So expanding, that means that I would have to rely on other people to be as dedicated and stuff like that. And I think, especially, I think just the essence of, I say this a lot being a single mother, you know, just how reliability is just like, it's like, who's reliable? Only me. You know what I mean? I'm the only reliable person. So to see, the team that I have now have like the heart. You guys have heart. Yeah. And it's just like the skill you guys can learn. Yeah. But you guys really exposed me to seeing that there is heart in other people. Yeah. And it carries them. It was just the way it carries me. Yeah. So no, I had no clue. Absolutely no clue that we'd be on this couch right now doing this episode here, and now Poised Lux has transformed into something much greater. And now you are doing things that you love to do. You can consistently know when you're lashing under Poised Lux, you're doing what you love to do. Yeah. Period. And I'm always going to advocate for that. Yeah. So no, I had no clue. But I'm, God's good. So like, definitely a blessing. Definitely a blessing. I wouldn't even say this is a question, but I feel like from when we started, like on both ends, I've seen you like transform so much. And we're gonna cry. We're gonna cry. Yeah. Oh my God. When we first started, I knew that you trusting people was such a big thing for you. The reliability. You could even tell like certain times you're a little hard to let us do certain things, or there was like the Toronto trip and you're like, I don't really have anyone to like rely on and like help. Yeah. And I remember like telling you, I will go even if I don't have clients, I'll go and help you. Oh my gosh. And even like before that, it was just like there's just certain little things, and there's been so many things behind the scenes, like real life stuff that's happened. Things we both had to let go of. I know there's been times where I've not been the nicest, and like I'm very blunt when I say things, and sometimes I don't think about it till after, and I've had to catch myself. And luckily, maybe it's because we're in therapy that we're like, hey, let's hop on a call, because like sometimes like communication hasn't been the best for us. Yeah. And now we know that, so like we know to just hop on like a FaceTime call, like certain things. So I want to thank you for like allowing me in your space, not just like work wise, but like life wise as well. And like when it comes to mom stuff, to relationship stuff, to like God, like so many things.
it just feels good to like be seen and be heard. Yeah. And I hope you feel the same.
I do. I absolutely do. And it's like you're talking, and I'm like, wow, she understands. Like, when you say in the beginning it was hard for me to trust, it is. It really is, because, like you said, a lot of life things have happened. Yeah. And I think we both didn't choose to, have our kids who don't have their parent. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, let's have so it's just like a lot of defeat there in personal life, where it's like, this is the one area where, like, my kids, my child depends on, me being successful. Yeah. And I'm still trying to navigate through this space. And I'm also still trying to, like, be genuine and stuff. And, like, it was hard in the beginning to, trust. So I appreciate you. Like you said, it may have been therapy too. Yeah. It was definitely therapy. It's 1,000% therapy, because I feel like I was the same, way when it comes to communicating with people and even having relationships with people, friendships. Yeah. It's like, it's definitely, like, hard to navigate through communication from an unhealed standpoint, but we're actively healing. We're actively on this journey of self-improvement. And I think one thing that you taught me too is that the power of repair, like, it's okay. Like, it's the power of repair. Like, we're both working through whatever we work through. And like you said, just being reliable as well, like, that was a huge thing for me. So just seeing you just continuously show up, despite if I may have said something, you may have said, whatever the case may be, like, we're still here. Like, you know what I mean? Like, going strong a year, a whole year, you're going strong. So, I definitely, appreciate you even seeing how hard, and like you said, a lot of things have happened. I think that's the part where I was like, you see the transformation. Yeah. You have, and I've seen it in you as well. I definitely have seen it in you too. From the beginning, inside the lash space, outside of the lash space too. Like,
and it's crazy because it's not even like spiritually, or like it's even physically. Like, we've like worked out together, and I remember I don't think either of us were like in the right space, but like I remember you like being like, I need this workout to hurt, like, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, can we just do yoga? Like, I need something light. And she's like, no, we're gonna cry, like, we're gonna, like, like, I was like, well, all right. I'm like, I can't move for the next 2 days. I'm like, you don't want to do a sound bath? I was like, I think we gotta cry.
I know. When I was craving pain, I was definitely craving pain. It's just like, it really just shows that we came such a long way.
Even like outfit wise, like what we were wearing, like when we were in Toronto, we were like all black, red hair.
No.
And then like that, like
like neutral, like we're just cutesy,
like allowing ourselves to be soft, and even as a single mother, and like sometimes having to take on like both energies of being masculine. So giving ourselves like that grace to be soft.
Yeah, exactly. That's huge, because we do carry both energies. I mean, we do. Yeah. But it's just like, we are able to still be soft in these spaces. And there was a number that was did for us to get to this point. Because like you said, in Toronto, which was, if I remember, September of last year, right now it's about to be June. Yeah. So May, June. Yeah, we had the red hair. All black. Sliding down stripper poles. We did some pole classes together too. Like, now we're just like, oh, here's like a Bible verse I want to share. Here's a devotional.
Here's a podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Wow. That's amazing. Aw. Yeah. Natalie.
And then, even like in August, we tried to do this podcast thing back in August.
Yeah, we did, and we just started trauma dumping.
It was so bad.
Girl, we were in the top trauma dumping. I was like, wow. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. I was like, the last time we tried to do this. Yeah. Yeah.
This is way better.
This is way better. Like, this is way better.
Yeah.
This is more wholesome.
More wholesome. Energy completely shifted.
I was like, I think I was in like a very toxic relationship, and I don't know where you were relationship.
I was like getting out of a relationship. Heartbroken.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just like, we're here to work.
And you already hated Atlanta.
Yeah, I hated Atlanta. Like, Atlanta just was like, like, but now to be in a space where We can be soft.
Yeah.
I'm no longer in that toxic situation. You know what I mean? You're no longer in the toxic situation.
Yeah.
We show up better even in the workspace too.
Yeah.
I think that's something that a lot of people don't realize too. Outside life also affects the inside,
completely.
of this space too.
Yeah.
It's huge, so I'm really proud of us. I'm proud of us. It's hard for it's rare that I ever say that I'm proud of myself.
Aww.
I'm really proud of us.
Yeah,
I really am.
I am. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. This reflection. I'm glad I had no expectations for this episode. I'm glad that I was just like, I just let it flow organically. I'm like, I could have totally just do.
Yeah.
But no, I'm happy. I'm really pleased. I think that's about it for today. But if you have any final words that you want to tell the viewers today,
I want to say, always bet on yourself. No matter who doesn't believe in you, always believe in yourself. I don't think I would have came this far spiritually, career-wise, if I hadn't taken that chance, because there was a lot of things that I had to let go of in order to be here. From my space, I was living by myself and having to navigate all that, being this is where I want to be career wise, and sometimes your new life is gonna cost you your old life.
Yes.
And I went through that. I thought, as a single mom, I was like, oh, now I have an apartment. It's just me and my boys. I'm doing it, blah, blah, blah. And then, the moment that I took this position, it was okay, well, do I want to still, be here and, struggle? And in 2025, I took the word struggle out of my vocab. It's gone, because words have so much power.
Yeah.
I'm in a different space. There are things that I had to let go of, people that have had to leave in order for me to be here, and it just feels so much lighter. And believe in yourself. Even if your mom doesn't support you, your spouse, whoever, as long as you have yourself and God, for sure, that's all you need.
Absolutely. I love everything you said. I think that's a perfect note to end on, because that's true. Bet on yourself, even if the people around you, don't. So yeah, that's a great word. That's a TDR. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to this special episode of the Designer's Room, where we go beyond the lash line. It was so nice to have you here, Natali.
Thank you.
We pray that you come back again. We'd love to see you again.
Aw.
Definitely would love to see you again. So, bye.
Bye.